I heard you say like when maybe you've not got in the team in the past, you were saying Plymouth and maybe other ones that you didn't, that your head maybe did go a wee bit and you didn't do what you needed to do in training. Did that change
Yeah,
then as you got older?
yes. When I was younger, that would have happened to me there. I would have just like sacked it off and been like, "Fucking, what's the point of me coming all the way down here and I'm not even playing or whatever." And then, so when I was younger, that's probably how I would have reacted.
Yeah.
And then when I was in Cyprus, I started working with a friend who was an Irish guy. Niall Stack was over there working with the UN, but he was also studying sports psychology, I think. And he asked if he could come in and see the club, like how training was and stuff. And then I just said to him, like, look, I'm available if you wanted, like, kind of work on me or practice
Practice.
techniques or whatever you want,
Yeah.
you need for your course. I'm open to you.
So he was just
Um,
studying. He wasn't qualified yet.
no, and then so I just started doing stuff with him, and then during that time as well, I met another guy, Jamie Edwards, and then just started like buying into that a bit more, that side of it.
I would love to talk about all of that. That would be what I'd be interested in, to be honest. What was the main reason you wanted them to help you? Like, what were you struggling with? And then, what did they have you do?
At the time, I wasn't in the team. I was at Ammonia, and I wasn't in the team. And was it my second season? No, sorry, it was midway through my first one. Maybe anyway, that doesn't really matter. And
Give me the specific time.
around February, and anyway, I wasn't in the team, and I was just like pissed off at it all. I was like, can't be bothered. And then started chatting with Niall, and then it was more at the time. I remember like training was shit. There was no. As a team, we were really good. Like we were really well structured and stuff.
Just
And I
as in
just
how the
never
team
really
had, like, as in the actual players you had in the system or whatever.
Yeah, and then I remember at the time like training was boring because we were doing loads of shape, a lot of standing around, and just wasn't enjoyable. And then like we'd go and do some finishing drills, and everyone would be tired and kind of bored and like just kind of going through the motions. And then I'd be doing the same. I'd just go and do what everyone else was doing or the same way they were all doing it. And then I remember saying that with Niall, and he was like, right, well, like separate yourself from that, so you're kind of doing whatever you can do, go and do it the best that you can. And it's like a small little change, and then it just gave me a better outlook into it. So then when
So you talking about when you're when you're actually training, or does he mean like just
in
zoning out?
training, in training,
But is he then talking about doing your own thing outside of that, or does he just literally mean
no,
they're
because
just like
I'd do my own stuff outside anyway, but this was more like specifically in training. It was more like just having your own standards to like, if the other lads are, you can see like maybe you're in doing stuff with the subs, or you're in a day afterward, it's the guys who haven't played.
Yeah, and they all can't be
And you see,
fucked.
they all might be pissed off and stuff. And like you can be pissed off, but you can still go and train properly. Or if guys are just fed up with the managers or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that kind of just started it all off for me, where I kind of just had a better outlook on times when I wasn't in the team, or if I wasn't doing well, where I knew if it kind of helped me then in New Zealand, where
So were you still working with him?
no, with
No.
Niall, no. Jamie, I'll do a little bit every now and again. But
You made that sound like just one thing he said to you though. Did they actually do
no, there was
like, was it just conversations like this, or was it like sit down and be like maybe write down your thoughts and stuff, or what was it like?
no. I don't think there was much of that. It was more just talking about like he might say, well, what was wrong with today's training, and I'd come in and be like, well, this happened, or we done finishing afterwards and it was terrible. Everyone was doing it slow. And I'd be like, right, well, let everyone do what they want. You do it the best way you can do it, and then maybe that might trigger them to make it better.
Like a snowball effect?
Yeah. Or then when we're doing shape and it's boring, like tune into it so you know in games. And now, like looking back, I'd love if a manager came in and was doing that all the time, like loads of shape it is really boring, but you feel the benefits in games. And we
That
actually,
you know what you're doing.
yeah. And that manager went on to,
Just telling you, look, if you're on the right, look, you know how that guy's going to be on the
yeah,
left.
yeah.
That's all I imagine. Just the manager coming up. You know what's coming. It's the left mid.
yeah.
Going you over there for a bit.
So it's just little things like that at the start. And then that helped me then for in the future when, like I was saying, New Zealand, when I wasn't in the team, I was still able to go and do everything that I thought I could do. So if I did get a shout to come in, I was ready to come in. Instead of before, if you're going and like training half-arsed when you're not involved in the team, or if you're not in the starting 11, then when you do get a chance to come in and you're kind of a little bit off the pace, you're going to be then saying, oh, well, I mean, fucking haven't played in a month or 2 months. What am I, of course,
You're
I'm going to be like
literally
that.
Already been negative in your head and everything as well. Like
Whereas if
already
you're
in your
like,
head.
if you do everything you can, then you can't really have regrets afterwards.
Did you ever come on the pitch much and feel? I'm asking you this because I used to play in whatever my actual team, right? And I would feel like I was quite good in that team.
Yeah.
I'd play for the school team. I would shit myself
Yeah.
every time. And it was some of the players, like, so the boy that was playing centre mid, I played with him in the other team.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got to school team, I'd be like, I feel like out of my depth because
Yeah.
there was like 2 other good players. And I would shit myself. I'd absolutely shit myself.
Yeah. I've always had that because I was better at Gaelic football.
Genuinely
so
better.
I was always more comfortable playing Gaelic football.
Right.
So I'd still feel now like I'm a better Gaelic footballer than an actual soccer player.
Even if you haven't played in years.
Yeah. Like I'm definitely not. Probably.
Is that more because of physical attributes because you're fucking huge? Or is it your actual technical ability?
No, technically as well, I
Really?
would say. And so like I was always playing football or soccer like it was my second sport, and I was never as comfortable or as confident where like if I was on a Gaelic pitch I'd be like, oh, I'm the best player here,
Oh, really?
and I'd feel like I'd play like that, whereas it was only until like I was minor, so like under 18s as well, so I never actually played senior Gaelic football,
Right.
which it might have had that might have like humbled me a bit.
Yeah.
Whereas soccer, like I was always like, oh, this isn't my sport kind of thing.
So you always been like that in every team? Not obviously never on the pitch,
Not
but
like
you've always sort of been like...
No, so like now I know what I'm good at and I know what I'll bring, but there is times where like it's hard if you're playing bad or if you're going through a bad run, the team's doing bad. It's hard to feel confident.
Yeah.
And like a really good player, and that's like what
Yeah, if you're
I think
getting
that's
pumped,
like what
I'm fucking class.
that's what separates a lot of the top players.
They can zone out
To
from
most players, they can just continually, if they're having a shit game, they'll continually go and try and get the ball
Yeah.
to make a change or to go and win a game. Whereas a lot of other players will, when you're having a shit game, that's the hardest time
I just lose my head.
to be a player.
I just fucking lose.
And then like there'll be times where you're thinking you might go and show for a ball only because you know this is what I'm supposed to do here.
Comes off your shin.
Yeah, like the fullback's got it. I'm like, right, I'm a striker. I need to go and show for this. Instead of wanting to like go and get it and maybe like make a change in the
Yeah,
game.
like show him if you're turned round. I'm open.
Yeah. So that was probably from when I was younger, that was the biggest change.